That video was amazing.
We definitely felt like there had to be a change.
Like they're advocating with us.
You have one of the best songwriters we know.
I'm not gonna lie here. I want to be completely honest.
And they dropped the Atomic Bombs.
What did you gain from it, and what were your goals in attending this conference?
2 ladies sitting next to me,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Hey, this is your first time going back home, right?" What?
It's deeper than just nuclear warfare and climate change.
Thank you, Mark Harmony, for joining us today on episode 7 of MEI the podcast. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of MEI the podcast. I'm your host, Marcina Langrine, and I'm the operations coordinator for the Marshallese Educational Initiative located here in Springdale, Arkansas. Now, you're probably wondering why Matthew, my co-host, is on the other side today, and that is because I will be interviewing Mark Harmony. Mark Harmony is a full-body Marshallese boy band that grew up in Northwest Arkansas, who graduated from Harbor and Springdale High School. Using art as their guide, Mark Harmony's mission is to amplify Marshallese youth voices who echo the pulse of our people through music. So excited to have you guys here today.
Yeah.
So
Can you guys introduce yourself individually?
Yeah. So many of you guys see me on previous episodes. My name is Matthew John. I am the M of Mark Harmony. And yeah, excited to be here on the other side.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kairo, Langrus, and I am the K of Mark Harmony. And I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so glad to have you guys here today. So what brought you four guys together originally? Like, what is the meaning? Is there a meaning behind your name? And who's all on the Mark team?
So Matthew, Reagan, and I met in Springdale High School through the high school choir. We sang a lot throughout the hallways and always got the attention from the teachers. Mm-hmm. And originally there were 4 members before RC. Alvin was our 4th member. And eventually it got to a point where we went to Allstate, and a friend of ours named Thomas Gray, shout out to Thomas, he came up to us and he asked us if we wanted to take it seriously and he can manage us if we did.
He was a sophomore at the time, yeah? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan was a sophomore, and me and this guy were juniors, and then Thomas was a junior too. So we're just kind of like trying to experiment, trying something new, because you see, like, we've seen like a bunch of groups blow up on social media, and
Right.
there's like potential there because Thomas believed we had the talent. We just enjoyed singing at the time. So someone to really push us into the spotlight or whatever was kind of a different, it was a different experience, but very grateful for the experience because, I mean, of where we are today, you know?
Mm-hmm. So did Thomas ever sing with you guys at any time?
He sang in the high school choir, of course. That's how we met Thomas. But when it came to Mark Harmony stuff, he was just there he was in the audience. He was making sure we were there performing. And then it got to a point where he couldn't be there all the time because he was in school too. He had gone off to college and he was going to, I think, somewhere in Central Arkansas. Was it? Yeah, I forget one of the schools, but he was going to school. He was going back and forth, so it was getting too hard for him. And then the thing with Alvin was he also had his own stuff going, and so it was just left with 3 members. Mm-hmm. And then I'll say the summer of 2019.
Yeah.
The summer of 2019, we had gotten a message on Instagram from somebody saying, if you guys are looking for a 4th member, think about adding RC into Mark Harmony. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was like, who's RC? We don't need RC. We have Alvin. Little did I know that Alvin was already gone. Alvin had already stepped out of the group. And I was there. I was fully on Alvin's side, though. I was like, no, we have Alvin. We don't need RC. Then I heard RC sing, and I was like, we need RC? We need RC? RC's voice is like, he doesn't give himself enough credit for his voice. He doesn't. His voice is amazing. He has a Polynesian tone for a Micronesian, which is crazy. If you guys hear him live, it's amazing. But yeah, that's how we all got together. We eventually met up with RC that summer, and we were all, testing the kinks, our voices, where we could arrange our voices. And then things got serious. We started, going around and performing different areas.
The first gig we picked up with RC was my brother's wedding. And
that was
a rough one.
It was a rough one.
That was our first time going on a platform with RC, and
that was the first performance.
That was the first one with RC. Yeah, that was my brother's wedding, and we had one mic. It was like,
dude, that was rough.
We had one mic, we had a keyboard, and 5 singers, because we brought up my other little brother to sing with us. So we're the worst part was the keyboard didn't have like an input to the speaker, so we're trying to mic up the keyboard. It's
we're putting a mic against the keyboard at this point.
Goodness.
Like for the intro of every song, I was like, dun, 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 and then one of the guys were holding the mic to the keyboard speaker. And then when it was time for someone to sing, they'd pull it so you'd lose all sound of the keyboard, and you just hear one person singing, even though there's 2 others singing with them.
So it was just a technical issue,
Yeah.
basically.
It was rough. It was rough.
Yeah, it was a technical issue, but also we didn't know how to work around. Like if you give us a mic now, just one, we'll work around it, because all of these things that we've had to overcome, all these uncomfortable situations we've been put in over the years. But starting with that, this is a big thing to really look back on.
You know what was the worst part about it? After we got off stage, 2 other people went up and performed, and it sounded amazing.
It was 3. Yeah, it was from my brother's wife's side too. My brother was like, "Bro, you guys are supposed to be my guys."
We're like, "We're sorry we let you down."
His wife's over here like, "Oh yes, my entire side of the family's music," and we're over here like shameful, like, "Dang, bro, we just disgraced this guy's side."
There's only 2. That's 2 versus 5 sharing the mic, so it was probably easier on their side.
We
as
could have.
opposed to
It was a learning experience for sure.
And they had a strap with their guitar too. So there's just one girl holding the mic, and all 3 of them just like put around the mic. And us 3 were like, we had 2 guys sitting, we had 3 guys standing, and the mic's just going here.
Yeah, we were just playing mic roulette.
Yeah. And that unorganization ultimately led up to the biggest pivot of, I feel like, our musical careers, which was getting a new manager.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a manager at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell we didn't have a manager at the time. Like, there's 2 guys
so
sitting, 3 guys
unorganized.
standing. It's like, we're running rehearsals when we want. And we definitely felt like there had to be a change, but we just had to find the right person, because running a band isn't easy, especially us. Like, it's a lot. So we went, and I asked my brother's wife, the one that just had the wedding, I asked his wife, I was like, "Yo, can you be our band manager?" And she was like, "No, I have 2 kids. Like,
straight up,
no, I'm not gonna be your band manager. I have a family." And I was like, "Bruh, like, I feel like a woman's presence would be great."
Understandable though.
And she was like, "Why did you ask Cena? Cena's literally the best at this kind of thing." And she happened to be there that night. I asked, and I was like, I had never talked to her before. I was like, "Hey, you want to be our manager?" And she was like, "Nah, I'll think about it."
She thought about it at first. I still remember this. We were inside of the truck. We were inside the car when this happened. And we all asked you at that point.
Oh, wait. So, like, before that, though, I had no idea who you guys were. I was like, who's Mark Harmony? I don't even know. And I was talking to my friend about it. And she's like, "Oh, they're a boy band." I'm like, "From where?" She's like, "From here." I'm like, "Oh."
Those guys that sing at the wedding, those guys.
She's like,
"Those
"Yeah,
guys?"
I did ask." I was like, "Was it the guys that were singing?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh."
And so we asked her, and at first she was like, when I asked her, it was inside the living room. Remember that? At my aunt's house?
I don't remember.
Well, I asked her, like, it was like me, because I was like, that was the first time I asked her, was like, I just straight up went and asked, shot my shot. You never make any shots you don't take, you know? So I just, will you be our manager? And she's like, nah. And then she goes, wait, are you for real? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I'll think about it. And then all of a sudden, I come back to you guys. I'm like, yes, she'll think about it. So we're all over here coming together. Finally get the opportunity to all ask her at the same time.
Oh yeah, I was bombarded with the team.
And then she was like, okay. I didn't think she was taking it seriously though. And then
in the beginning, I wasn't.
We found out you had so many connections, and we're like, she's the perfect person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how.
Now talking about the team, so what's the creative process, you know, when you're composing your songs? Like, who writes, who produces, who does what? Or is it just a team collaboration?
When it comes to writing songs, songs can come out of nowhere. You honestly just, if you get an inspiration, a song comes about. So we all write our own parts. Sometimes other members in the band need help writing their parts, so we'll jump in and help them. And but there's never really we've never had that opportunity to sit down and be like, let's write a song right now. It's always been like, hey guys, I have a song. You think we can finish it? And a member of ours would come with the song. We all write our parts. The production, it's whoever we're working with at the time. So when it came to the Voices Rising project, so we all wrote songs because we were all sitting down. They asked us, they were like, can you guys write a song in a full day? And we said, yeah, we can do it, 30 minutes. We write the song, and then it came down to the production, and the Voices Rising members had done the whole production part of it. Songwriting is us. Composing the song and how the melody goes is all us. But the beats and production, that we leave that to whoever can at the time, whoever's helping us.
We have a guy, just don't want to throw him out there, you know, to the wolves. A lot of the times I'll start writing a song and I just can't finish it, you know? I can't. So why go through the stress of trying to force yourself to finish a song when you got a team, you know? Like, you got a team you can lean on. Sometimes I'll play something that just, I have no lyrics or melody for it, but I have a composition on piano or guitar. So I'll show the guys and then we'll get to work. So that's kind of how it goes.
So can you tell the audience how many songs you guys actually have that are not produced?
We have a lot.
We have songs we don't even remember.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of songs that
I could have swore there's probably over 30. Over 30 songs. So what is the band's genre?
Ooh, that's very all over the place. Like, we did Homecoming was more country vibe because we don't have to connect Arkansas to the islands. But then you get Be Mine, which is completely not country at all. And then Stars Collide, very cinematic, very dreamy.
So does each individual, does each person have their own unique style of music?
Yeah, I think that's what that's the reason why we're all over the place when it comes to our genre.
Yeah,
we all have different flows and different style of writing. RC's more into cinematic and meaningful things. I'm into the reggae, the rhythm side of things. Matthew's more of a he's also in the cinematic scene. He writes songs and his lyrics are more sentimental. But yeah, I think that's why it varies a lot when it comes to our genre.
Yeah, that boy Reagan he does dabbles with the soulful stuff. Very funky too.
Yeah.
So what would you say is unique about your style of music compared to other American bands?
I'd say one thing that I think, and I'm not doing this to be cocky or whatever, but I just feel like we can adapt to other styles of music, you know? We can, if they have a song, and I think it's a strength because we can work with other people, you know? If they have a song, we can probably hop on that track and you know, it'll still flow.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's very adaptive.
mhm.
With our music, you don't know what's coming next. Really,
Gotcha.
it's a different style most of the time.
So, do you guys have any artists that you attribute your inspiration to start music? Or did you have any artists? Like, who's your favorite artist, or which artist inspired you to start music?
Mine was actually the guys.
Oh, really?
Like, for real, because this guy started playing, like, he started posting his stuff on Instagram. He played the ukulele. He taught me how to play ukulele. And ever since I learned how to play the uke and, like, put 4 bars or 4 chords together and then make a song, like, it just kind of carried out from that. But I'm constantly inspired by these guys because they're so, like, gifted and talented. Like, it makes me want to, like, get better and, like, hone my craft too, you know? Because the more that I learn, the more I want to learn. Because, like, that hunger just, like sometimes it's stagnant because, like, other things get in the way. But it's always there in the back of my head. Like, at night, sometimes I'll pull out the guitar and I'll just dabble.
Kairo, which artist inspired you to start music?
I'd say Ed Sheeran in the beginning. I used to say Ed Sheeran a lot. But as time went by, I grabbed inspiration from anything I can, really. RC has a lot of, he has a lot to do with my inspiration too. Matthew and Reagan, they all give me inspiration.
Or what about the other two? RC and Reagan. Who do you know who inspired them?
I know, I can't really say this artist's name, but RC's inspiration comes from an artist named Cyril Hess.
Oh, Cyril Hess.
Cyril Hess.
Okay.
Yeah.
RC also loves, like, One Republic, Coldplay. But there's this one specific
And
band.
Harry Styles.
The
Harry
script.
Styles.
Oh,
The
yeah.
script.
The
That's
script
his
is a good
biggest
one.
inspiration is the script.
Mhm.
Because when that boy sings their songs, man, he sings with his soul.
Mhm. Reagan, I'd say he gets a lot of his inspiration from the churches. He also gets his from, like, pop artists and the women in the pop industry. He's always in the car singing something.
Here's one thing I want to say about Reagan. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit for his work ethic. Because there was one day at our house, literally, he sang the same song, the same, like, part of the song for an entire day because he didn't like the takes he was taking. I was like, bro, that's so commendable. Like, if you can do that past 8 hours, that's actually insane. Like,
And he stayed on the same note
Yeah.
as well. What was your most memorable performance? When and where?
most memorable. There's a lot, but I'll give you 3. One was Coco's EP release party.
Yeah.
That one was good.
Mm-hmm.
This recent Washington one, getting everybody to sing
Chant of
chants. Yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
that was crazy.
That was nice.
And then Shiloh at the Square here in Springdale.
That was our first ever, like, what was it, 2 hours? Was it a 2
Yeah.
2
hour gig?
hours, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mhm.
I was very nervous for that gig.
That was our first one back at home here in Springdale, like Northwest Arkansas, since 2022?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was our first one back at home for a while, because we've been on, because some of these places, no, I can't even, because I can't pick one, because now I'm realizing all the places we've been to, like the islands, that was crazy.
I watched that live.
Antigua was crazy, but the islands, I'd say that's number one,
Mm-hmm.
because we was jumping off the stage, like
Jumping off of chairs.
What about you, Kairo? What was your most memorable performance?
I'd say Antigua for me.
Yeah.
I think it was the
Where is
vibes.
Antigua?
Antigua is in the Caribbean. And when I heard we were going to Antigua, I was like, where's Antigua? And then they said Caribbeans. And I was like, Caribbeans? What going to do over there, man?
Reagan's like, we're gonna be daddies.
He said, hey, mama, I'm going to Cuba. But yeah, Antigua for me, top one.
What is the band working on now? Are you guys doing any collaborations with any other artists?
We got a lot of work lined up for the rest of the year and for the beginning of next year, carrying on through the entire year of next year. So next year is a big year for Mark Harmony. But as of right now, I'm not going to say too much of what we're actually working on. If you know, you know. But if you don't, just be ready because we got some work coming out and we got some exciting news coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
It
I
is
can't wait.
exciting.
I myself can't wait to hear. And so, one of the things that we try to focus on here at MEI is education for Marshallese and non-Marshallese. Whether that's about our culture, our traditions, or our history, and of course, the threats of climate change and nuclear weapons. And so, how did you come to realize that these two pressing issues were something that you wanted to highlight in your music?
For me, it's deeper than just nuclear warfare and climate change. This has been a part of our lives and our family's lives. For example, my grandma, she was a child during the nuclear blasts and when they dropped the atomic bombs. So it's affected her health all through her life, and it's also affected me mentally, emotionally. So it's almost like if you don't do it, who will? So start somewhere. You got to start.
Yeah. I feel like for me and for RC2, because we spent a whole half a year together, living together, it's like we say a lot of these things, like we know it's a pressing issue within our community, but it's overlooked a lot, especially by the younger generations. I feel like some are starting to pick it back up and starting the conversations, but the disconnect between the older generations and the younger generations, between in regards to talking about the issues, I feel like music can be that barrier, and also or not the barrier, but the bridge, and to breaking the barrier. But I also feel like other cultures don't necessarily understand what it's like to actually have family members that experienced what our family members and our ancestors experienced. So it's if you don't hear us, we're going to write something and you're going to feel it.
Yeah, and I think that speaks volumes, because I remember even before when you started working here at MEI, you actually came by the office, well, all of you guys actually, you guys came by the office to learn about the nuclear legacy. And I remember MEI staff would stay after hours for an hour or two just to give you guys presentations on our shared nuclear history, And I think that kind of inspired you, that did inspire you to write a song. So can you talk about your nuclear victims tribute song, Oh Sweet Marshall Islands?
That song, man. Whew. That was back in 2019. It's been 6 years.
6-year-old song.
Holy crap. That song was really just a song for people who were curious and wanted to know about what I had just recently learned, which was our shared nuclear legacy with the Marshall Islands and the depth of it. Because in that song is just scraping the surface, You can dive deeper and you can learn and hear stories about it. If you just go and find and reach out to the right people, you can learn. But that song is a good starter. It's what a good Kickstarter to learning something would be. It's got facts. It's got wordplay in there that I think work well with the facts in the song. It's a very amateur song, but that composition, I remember when I played it for you for the first time, he's like, yo, we can do something with that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna write something. And I tried, and then he actually helped me finish writing a lot of the lyrics in that.
You know what's crazy about that song? So Matthew has a a keyboard
Mhm.
where you can record you playing a song and like, and in that keyboard, he has the development of that song in that keyboard.
Oh.
You can hear from when he first composed that piece
Mhm.
to when he finally got like
Oh,
it
that's
all
cool.
put together. So we would go back and just listen to the first time he ever played
Mhm.
it. We'll listen to it and be like, that's what it sounded like. And then we'll listen to the last version of it. And just seeing the piece come together, it's a
Mhm.
different feeling.
Yeah, it's especially with like original accompaniment, like you can add your own little tweaks here and there, and I feel like I play it so differently now. Like it
Mhm.
sounds complete, and it's a piece that I'm proud of because when we were in New York and they reprised that song, I was almost in tears. I was like,
Mhm. That was a good one. Yeah, that was. They told me that was a surprise for you guys at the end, and I wanted to tell you so
That
bad.
was so cool. That was so cool.
I was like, oh man, I should have recorded their reactions.
Yeah.
I was
So-
like, what?
Yeah.
No, also Marshall Islands is probably like in my top 3 of all your favorite songs, but because like we can resonate with the song and it's just such a deep and meaningful song, and I think you guys did a really good job. And I really like it when you guys sing it a cappella.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like you can really hear. I feel like when you sing things a cappella, like you can like hear the story and like actually envision the story that you're singing. And so that's like that was for me. Like I was just envisioning like everything that I've learned over the decade of my life, and like and then just listening to your song. So
Yeah.
it was really nice.
Thank you.
So, one of our trips together, we went to the second meeting of the state parties to the TPNW, or the Treaty Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, at the United Nations headquarters in New York City. What was your take on that experience, and what did you gain from it, and what were your goals in attending this conference?
That was my second meeting that I've been to. The first one was the Non-Proliferation Treaty in New York. So going back for the second time, but because I told everybody the first time, I was like, yo, because I presented OSLE Marshall Islands there at a side event. It was like Youth for Nuclear Justice.
Right.
And I presented the song. I talked about the song, the making of it. I said something. It was cringe. I thought it was powerful at the time. I was like, yo, I did that. Like, looking back at it now, like, bruh. But I told everybody. Everybody's like, that's a great song. I was like, yeah. And they're like, are you going to sing for us? I was like, nah. I was like, nah, I'm not singing without the guys. Like, not in New York. So that was one thing I was really looking forward to. It's like actually getting to experience performing in New York City with you
the
guys.
boys. Yeah.
I was like, not even just that, just like going to New York with y'all and saying we're there for Mark Harmony's work.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, that's crazy. The MEI and Mark Harmony collaboration is unreal.
it's always a bang.
Yeah.
Dude, that New York City trip, I learned a lot. I didn't know there were other islands being tested. Like Kiribati, I didn't know they were being tested too. So
Yeah,
the takeaway from that,
French Polynesia.
yeah, that's you going to those trips. You gain so much knowledge and kind of changes your perspective on things.
Mhm.
You kind of see the world. You realize how small you are, and like there's just so much going on.
And the thing about those is like you see how much like it's like advocacy behind the United Nations. And so it's like a lot of people who don't look like us, but they're advocating with us. And so that's why I really like enjoy going to these conferences, because you just meet so many other people
from different parts of the world, like Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan is another place I didn't know about.
Yeah. What was it like as our manager going from like a little Northwest Arkansas tour in late 2019 to finally getting the paperwork done to take the boys to New York City?
Yeah. I think like from the beginning, like, I was just getting us local gigs, which were super easy. You guys were performing for like Downtown Springdale, Coca-Cola, House of Songs, Jones Center. Those were super fun. But I was like, okay, now we need to take it to the next level. Let's do out of state. And then it was like Washington, DC, New York, Oklahoma. And then on the side, it's like baby showers, birthdays, and like family gatherings. And then now it's like actually turning into a job, which means that there was like more on my plate because now everyone is like wanting you guys at everything. But it's like, how do I balance my work life, and then like Mark Harmony, and then home life?
Yeah.
So that was like the biggest struggle for me, was just balancing all three. But I guess working with Mark Harmony has definitely been an honor. I've been introduced to a lot of things that I didn't even know about, singing or composing a song, or just all those little band lingos that you guys have. And so I myself have learned a lot from you guys. I've seen the process from the beginning to the end. And before, I've always thought that, creating a song is super easy. You can do that in a day. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. But then when I actually saw the process from the beginning to the end, like, songs can take up to months.
Yeah.
Good.
Like, for like Nuclear Victims, Remembrance
especially
Day,
those.
like those songs, like I remember you guys working on it the year prior. And then we had just gotten like the perfect hooks, like, what was it, the week before?
Yeah.
It was crazy. And so yeah, I think me, like as a manager, I've definitely learned a lot along the way. But I felt like, us traveling the world together and all the opportunities that have been presented to us, we're definitely blessed. Because, there's a lot of people who've been, working hard, but it's a blessing to know that like you guys are doing the same thing, but you guys are like really, really out there. And then shout out to all the people who've collaborated with you guys. I feel like if it wasn't also for them, like amplifying your work, we wouldn't be here today as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were able to use like their resources, and then me using like local resources, and then us just coming together like as a team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's how you guys were able to just now be on a global platform.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, managing has definitely has its perks. And when I go to Medero, I kid you not, people are like, it's Mark Harmony's manager. And even at like weddings, like they don't say my name, they just say Mark Harmony's manager.
I'm so dead.
And I'm like, my name's Sina. Like, my name's Sina.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, Mark. And they ask for like a picture with me. And it's like, I feel famous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you're out in public and you see people and they recognize you, they don't call you by your first name.
Yeah.
They just say Mark
Harmony.
Mark Harmony.
I
Like,
was at
Mark Harmony manager.
I was at Walmart not too long ago, and one of the guys that was working, I was like looking at the cat food and the cat treats or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like trying to get some stuff for Simon. This guy comes up to me, like right behind me, tapped me on the shoulder. I was like, "What's up?" And he goes, "Love your work, bro. Keep it up." I was like, "You're right. Appreciate it."
That's honestly, I can attest to that because I see that all the time. When we're in the stores, like everyone's just not to sound like cocky or anything. We're like, oh my god, it's Mark Harmony.
Yeah. They
But they
scream
really
it
do
too.
so. But I think what's really funny, or not funny, is that I feel like more adults want to take photos with you guys as opposed to like youth.
Mhm.
It's more adults. They're like, can I have a photo?
Yeah. I really appreciate the love too. Like all of us, it doesn't go unnoticed. Like
Yeah.
all the team members, we all appreciate the support and the love because starting up was rough.
Mm.
Like to get support, like there was a lot of back and forth inconsistencies,
Mhm.
but now that everybody understands when we're going dark and we're like not posting as much or we're
It's because we're working.
yeah, because we're working on something. And I feel like everybody can understand that and appreciate that. Just because we're gone for a little bit, it doesn't mean we're gone forever. You know, we're going to come back and it's going to be a banger. And
Mhm.
can't wait to see y'all again.
It always happens that way too. We
Yeah.
always come back and they're like, "Oh, there they are again."
Now, going back on, the trips and the sessions that you're part of. So with your understanding of the nuclear legacy, what is your definition of nuclear justice?
we understand what's at stake here. Like, it could be very messy, very fast, and that's because nuclear weapons. So, nuclear justice to me, just get rid of them. Like, it's really a no-brainer if you think about it. It's like one can harm the entire human race, and if you don't have them on this side, everybody's fine. So, go to this side. Be for humanity.
It also means like taking accountability.
Right.
Those with the ability to control those weapons, taking accountability and
Mm-hmm.
Kinda-
Most definitely.
looking in the mirror, realizing
Mhm.
what you're doing to the world.
The first step to that, in my opinion, is stop developing them. Like, and stop using nuclear energy. Like, I don't know. That's just my honest take on it.
I feel like this world is just power hungry.
Yeah.
It's always like, I want to be the top. Do you guys have any more work coming out soon that's inspired by the Marshall Islands nuclear legacy?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We have things coming up and work to do and songs to write. So you'll definitely see more of nuclear awareness stuff coming along.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. So now let's talk about your hit singles.
Oof.
Stars Collide, Island Gaynad, and the newest one, Homecoming. Can you tell us what is the backstory of each of this song, and maybe talk a little bit about your trip to the RMI?
We'll start with Stars Collide because that's everybody's favorite. That one, there's a huge misconception and misunderstanding of Stars Collide being written on the spot. That RC took his time and he perfected that chorus to like absolute sweetness and perfection.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one he chose to use in the Islands because RC has a repertoire
Yeah.
of hooks and
Mhm.
choruses that people have not heard. So he brought that one out the bag and it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So we're recording the song and he's doing the chorus, and at first it's just like a little jumpy song on the guitar, like dun 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 dun. And Jared's like, wait, this could be a ballad. And then I was like, huh? And then he goes, dun, on piano, very dramatic piano. I'm like, yo, that actually sounds so sick. And then RC goes, this is paradise. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, the song's about to change completely. And so from us three going in to record the song just didn't make any sense. Like, I'm not going to sing and look at RC in his eyes and say, I see, like my skin's touching up against, like, you know, I'm not going to sing those lyrics to him while looking in the eyes during golden hour. Like, we're not going to hold hands and run across the beach. Like, it's not going to work. One of the Voices Rising members, productive team, was like, we need a girl on the track. And we're like, yeah, we needed Carney on the track anyways, like on this album. So let's get her on this track with RC. and magic. From that point on.
When they came out with the video, I was like, that video was amazing.
Bro.
Just to top it off behind the lyrics too. My favorite line in that song will forever always be the Island Eyes part.
Sunset in your island eyes.
That part, oh my goodness. When he came and he sang it live for me here at MEI, I was like, RC, dude.
Who came up with that emotional part?
Sunset in your island eyes? Dude, not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie here. I want to be completely honest. One of the Voices Rising team members came up with that song or that line, and he was like, put that in the song. And I was like, nah, I don't like that. And then RC was like, here, let me try it. And then it sounded like butter when it came out of his mouth. And I was like, and then they're looking at me and they're just tapping my shoulder. They're like, what did I tell you? I was like, it sounds great.
Yeah. Iconic line, man. Iconic.
But that one was if you want to see what the Marshall Islands like looks like in its true beauty and like at the highest quality possible while not actually having to go, but you still want to see what home looks like, check out Stars Collide. That's the RMI and
Homecoming.
Hour. Yeah,
Homecoming.
And Homecoming. Yeah.
And what's the story behind Homecoming?
Oof. That one was good. I called you. I had a couple calls to this guy.
Called me. Crying.
No, literally. So I was playing the uke. Just dun, 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 and then Jared was like, He's fired up his laptop, and I was just jamming. And next thing you know, I'm jamming Mike on the uke. I was like, what the heck? And then I just played it. He was like, yeah, keep going. I was okay. And then he put it, and then he connected the speaker, and then he started building the track from there. Ooh. I was like, bro, this guy's a magician.
Yeah, he's a genius.
I was like, bro. And from that point on, RC comes in hard. I am inspired by some men. I was like, what? And then we take what, because RC just had I am inspired, and then he started going da na 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 na, and then he looks at me and how we do that. Oh! We start going crazy, and then we have nothing for the rest of the day. But the next day we go to Coconut Leak Productions to get in the studio with Brob, because Brob's like, studio session in our office. Let's go. So we go, pack up everything. We get inside, and then there's well, before you get there, so it's a funny side story. We're in the truck and we're on the way there, but we think Barab's already there. Like, he's already there waiting for us. So the day before him, he had a full set of hair. Like, he had a full set of hair, and he was he just didn't look bald. So when we're driving from K&K to Coconut Lake, we see this dude. He's like, hey, wait for me. And we're like, who's that bald guy? And I was like, bro, that's Bro. Like, Regan's like, who's that bald guy yelling at us? So Bro hops in the back. He's like, what's up, guys? I was like, what's up? So we go. And then that's how that's how the recording started. Like, we go in there, and then Bob's like, play the track. He's like, all right, you guys write. We're going to sit here in silence with the track and just write. So we're writing the song, and RC goes first. He gets up there. He's like, I am inspired by so many people I admire. And you know the verse. Everybody knows that verse. So iconic. And we're all like, dang, how long did that take you? He's like, dude, it took me like 10 minutes. So I'm like, must be nice. And then Reagan's next. They're like, Reagan, what you got? Because at first I went and I had like this verse, but they're like, nah, it doesn't match the vibe. I'm like, whatever. And I went up in 5 minutes. I thought I had it. I was like, let's go. And then they're like, okay. So I sat down. I was rewriting everything. And Reagan goes up and he blows it out of the water in Marshallese. So I'm like, bro, I'm lacking here. Like, I don't got Marshallese lyrics. And they didn't like my flow. I was like, bruh. So Reagan's just like hitting these high notes. And then they're like, that's perfect. I was like, must be nice. So at the end of the recording session, they asked if I had anything. And I was like, nah, I ain't got nothing for y'all. Not right now.
I remember when you called me.
Yeah. So we go home and I call you. I'm like, bro, I'm struggling. I need help. And he's like, bro, you got this. I was like, bro, I'm asking for help. He's like, nah, bro, it's just, you're in the islands. That's your help. And I was like, dang, bro, you're right. But
Nah, it honestly, when you called me and you were like, dude, I'm struggling, it kind of hurt.
really?
I'm not going to lie, it hurt. Listening to you, like, calling for help, but I can't be there. That's tough, you know?
Yeah. Because
I kept trying to tell you, like, you have RC right there. You have one of the best songwriters we know.
yeah, but RC was like, bro, if only Kairo was here. Because, like, he was struggling to help me out.
Yeah.
It was that bad. Like, my block in the islands was horrible.
Yeah.
The hardest block I ever had to come out of.
But we made it through, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah, you guys made an amazing song with Butter
Yeah.
Up. You know, speaking of homecoming, congratulations to Mark Harmon and Butter Up for representing the Marshall Islands on the first ever world album with the International Artist Project. And that album will be coming out, I believe, August 1st of 2025. And this specific album highlights one artist from every single country
Sheesh.
in this world. And so you and Barab are literally representing the Marshall Islands with Homecoming. So how do you guys feel?
It feels surreal, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel that. You don't feel the accolades. You don't feel the achievements until people tell you you have them.
Yeah. It's like,
You feel like a regular person, really.
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, like when everyone usually comes up to me and like ask me, like, how do you guys always like on so many trips and doing this and that? And I'm like, honestly, I myself don't even know. I don't even know how we got here. like there's just, I don't know where I just, like I said earlier, we're just blessed with the amazing opportunities that are always put in front of us. And that is always why I always encourage you guys to take these opportunities, because you just never know when they'll come back.
Mhm.
So take it with everything you have.
Yeah, you have one of the best networking ever that I've ever seen. Like, she'll come to us and she'll say, hey, we got to be here at this time. I'm like, what? Like, how'd you get that going? She's like, I just did something.
This guy's
Network.
the baddest. He's the worst influence whenever you're saying. Because I'm like getting the guys together. I'm like, yeah, we got to be here at this time. And he's like, man, we got time.
Exposed.
No, for real. I have a bad habit of doing that.
Man, we got time. Come on, man. Let's go play pool or something.
Until I show up.
And they're like, okay, guys, let's just
It's like, you know, like the cue the Jaws music, like dun dun.
That's the worst part, because you show up and the first person you let is me, and he runs away.
I go down each letter, MARK, and he's the last one.
And then we're all like, it was Kairo's idea. And by the time it gets to Kairo, it's like, no, who was it then? It was Regan.
Go back to it. But over the years, I've definitely gotten better. And so I feel like I taught them networking, if that counts.
Yeah.
Being on time and being mindful of other people's time too,
That was a
because
big one.
Yeah.
that was a big thing that I felt like they had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, although they are requesting you, we also have to show up on time, be there when they say, because they're doing all like the back work.
Yeah.
And all you had to do is show up. And so you've definitely gotten better.
Not only that, when we show up, you can see them like doing everything for us, so it makes you feel some type of way. Yeah. So
Now, on to the next question. When you went to the Marshall Islands, what was the culture shock considering the lifestyle compared to how you grew up in the States? Was it anything like you expected? And now, like, Kairo, you moved from Ibai, correct, when you were 1?
no, when I was 6 or 7
Oh,
years
6.
old.
Do you have any recollection of like childhood memories?
Mm-hmm. Growing up, I went to co-op. I spent probably a year and a half there, and then I finally moved here to Arkansas. But memories from the islands, I remember. So my memories are like glimpses and just like flashes of places I've been at. So if I was there, then I can remember. Oh, I've been here before. Flashes of the beach park. So I remember I almost drowned at the beach one time. Yeah, you remember. There's things I wish I could talk about, but I can't. That I remember. But yeah, glimpse. I remember going to school with my grandpa. We had this routine where my grandpa was a dentist, and he had this bike. We'd ride to school and from school. So in the mornings, we'll get up, get the bike, ride to school, stop at a little convenience store where we always had coffee, bread, and 2 boiled eggs. Yeah, that was what we ate in the morning every day.
You had coffee at 6.
Yeah, my grandparents didn't really care. Yeah.
That's right. Like, he's like, yeah, I stopped drinking.
That's right.
I stopped drinking it though as I got older. But as a kid, I used to drink that thing like it was hot chocolate.
Grown.
But
bouncing off the walls at school.
Yeah, there's plenty of memories I have in here about Ibai. So.
And then Matthew, with you being born in the States, what was it like going back or going home for the first time?
Oh man, it felt like a dream because like it didn't feel real to be flying over the islands. Because there's like 2 ladies sitting next to me, and they're like, "Hey, this is your first time going back home, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, me, him, and him." And they're like, "Okay, you 3 come here." And I was like, "Okay." And we looked out, and there they were, bro, the islands. I was like, "What the?" And then we're all just like in shock, bro, because. To see the place that your parents and your grandparents and all your family grew up, like maybe it's not the specific island, but it's still the islands. So to see like the capital city or capital island for the first time, like through plane was crazy. Then we get off, smacked in the face with humidity. I was like, get me back on that plane now.
Hot.
It was the worst. Like the first week was so bad. Me and Archie were like, bro, what? We will go home, bro. There ain't no
because it was hot.
It was so bad. And like me and Archie were trying to stick it out like some true pioneer stuff going on. Like we're like, nah, we're not going to AC room. We gotta adjust. And then he's like, okay, I'm with you.
Compared to Antigua heat and Marshall Islands heat, which one's worse?
Marshall Islands.
Marshall Islands.
Antigua. Oh, go ahead.
But that heat was like, for me, I was like, when I got off the plane in Antigua, at least there was a little breeze and it wasn't as like humid.
Yeah.
Like it was humid, but it wasn't like
it was
in
bearable.
the islands. Yeah. The islands was like you go from maybe a 68 degree plane onto like 95 degrees, but it's humid.
Yeah. Well, the time that I went, like it wasn't humid. It was just like, it was like dry hot. And like, there is like a slight breeze, but you know, that was the summer. The summer is hot anyways. And like you stay out for like 2 minutes and you're like sweating. But I feel like in January, like the breeze is so nice.
Oh, okay.
I feel like the weather is so nice in January and on.
Yeah. But after we got off the plane and we got away from the humidity for a second, we had to go through customs. Basically, we just went through, and then once we got out of wherever we had to go, there were people there. Everybody was singing at the airport, just waiting for us. And I remember me and Archie looked at each other like, "Are they singing to us?" Because there's a lot of people coming off the plane. But then we see the sign, "Welcome Mark Harmony."
Wow.
And we're like, and then we see a little short dude with the camera coming up, and we're like, what the heck? Well, getting off the plane, here's the funny thing. He's on top of the fence at the, like, by the air, like, the runway. He's like, on top of a fence.
Trying to get every angle
Trying to capture the moment. Yeah. So we get back in there, and then there's like 3 cameras just right on us because Jared was leading the way out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And as soon as as soon as he got out, they handed him a camera, from what I can remember.
Oh,
Because he had a camera and he was like, they're all.
that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, what?
It's short to work.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
Yeah. Then we got in the car because and I thought we were gonna have this car the whole time. It was a rental for the day, and I was like, all right, guys, turn off the AC. Let's roll the window down because we got to get used to the hot weather. And then Clay was like, okay. Turn off the AC, roll the windows down. And as we're doing that, we're just looking outside. Like, wow, that's Bub. Wow, that's Pandanus. Wow, it's everyone's talking about. But then after all the experience and like all of the things that we took in, we had to hop on a flight. You blink and you're leaving, you know? Like after the first week, you blink and you're gone. You're on the flight back home. So we get in the flight and we didn't know how sad we'd be until we actually got home. And I feel like once we got to Dallas, I think we went to Dallas and I saw this guy wearing a Barcelona jersey, and in the islands you can go anywhere and you can say hi to everybody. He's like, oh, yeah, hello, morning. But I saw the guy in the airport with the Barcelona jersey. I was like, hey, bro, nice jersey. And he looked at me like,
yeah, it's a different vibe.
yeah. And I was like, bro, it's a compliment. Take it, you know? But, you know, slowly adjusting back to like the independence and like the, I don't know, isolation. Feel so isolated here when you come back until you get back to where your people are, like back to Springdale. Then you start to feel a little bit normal. But even then, like the community here is so different from back home. But I didn't know how sad I'd be until I got home. It's like all I thought about for the next 6 weeks was the islands. Then I went to Germany. All I could think about was the islands. Came back. All I could think about was the islands until we went to DC.
That's a scary thought, man. It's like, I think about being there sometimes. You know, I think about EY so much. Sometimes I have dreams of it. And
really?
In the dream, I'm walking towards the trailer that I used to live in. But as soon as I get close to even opening up that gate, I wake up. It's the worst dream ever. Because, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking my grandparents are in there. It's going to be just like the way it was. But as soon as I touch that door and I open it, I wake up and I'm like, dang. And that's how I felt when I stayed behind. It was like that door, you know, closed.
For me, I grew up in Oregon. And like if I were to have that dream of like going back to the house that I used to live in, because I loved living in Oregon. Like I miss it so much. But like if I were to go to sleep and think about it and like as I'm about to get home to where like my mom and like all of them were and like right before I open the door, like the dream ends, that would suck. So this is so rough.
I've woken up crying, man.
Oh.
It's the worst feeling ever.
You're just longing to go home.
Yeah.
I feel like when I first went back to the islands, like I didn't want to leave either.
Yeah.
I was just like, I kept thinking like, kept telling myself, I get it now. I get why people want to come back home.
You know
that they can't.
You know that story you posted of your mom?
Yeah.
Dang, I felt that one. I was like,
really?
finally she got to see her mom. I was like, yeah.
So guys, how has being Marshallese aided or impacted your musical journey? How has it helped and what challenges have you faced?
Identifying as Marshallese and not just like Islanders has amplified our voices a little bit more because people are kind of curious, you know? So it sparks a little bit of interest amongst the audience. But for the other Marshallese around us and like that actually know us as people, they're sharing the word, like they're spreading awareness about Mark Harmony, spreading awareness about the issues. So it's like, it's an active chain that I think is becoming more and more impactful. So like like as we grow, I feel like we're gonna start having to watch a little bit more about what we say, which I really don't think we say anything crazy, but it's just something to be mindful. We gotta be a little bit more mindful about like what we say, how we act, what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I guess, yeah.
Because at that point, we're not just representing Mark Harmony; we're representing a whole
Mm-hmm.
nation. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just goes back to your mission, you know, trying to amplify the voices of the Marshallese people and through your creativeness. What advice would you give to Marshallese youth or young adults for exploring their cultural connections?
Don't be too embarrassed about it. Like, kind of have that childlike mentality where like you're taking in information and using it as like you just be a sponge, take in as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about where you're from, because one day you never know, man. Tomorrow's never promised. So just try to figure yourself out as a Marshallese and learn as much as you can about the culture, because we don't want the culture to die out.
Right. I just feel like there's an illusion going on. Like people don't really know who they are because they don't know about where they're from.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just encourage you to learn more about who you are and where you're from. Be proud of it. And if you have the chance to go home, go.
Yeah. And take this opportunity to talk to your parents and conversate with them. Ask them about their childhood.
Yeah.
Your grandparents. You guys have literal, you have people who have memories, who have information that you could want, you find interesting. I find that stuff interesting too. And so, yeah.
So guys, do you have a pre-show ritual? Do you guys do like a handshake? Do you guys do like a little song? Like, what do you guys do?
We used to have a handshake, but I think our warm-up nowadays is like some people we'll pull that out when we're jamming sometimes, trying to warm up our vocals. I think our pre-show ritual is really just jamming, sitting down and getting our songs right.
Let's try to get that.
Yeah, the jitters
flow
out.
Ready. Yeah.
We definitely sing that song. Wow, like when we were younger, we did have a handshake, but I feel like we grew out of that a little bit.
We grew out of that handshake phase.
Yeah. But also like I don't know, for me, I like for myself, I like to get you guys together and like because I get shy, so like just letting you like
hype each other up.
I'll hype you guys up, so hopefully you guys will hype me up too.
Yeah, that's one thing I like try. My pre-show ritual is like my mental is like I have to know that I'm with the guys, so you don't feel alone.
Right? Yeah.
You're just getting yourself prepared mentally, because those jitters, they don't go away. They may diminish as you grow, but they don't go away.
Yeah.
No, I say that because like before you guys go up, you guys are just literally jamming on the side or just goofing off, and I'm just like trying to give you the stare like to quit it, but then I'm just like, never mind. They're probably trying to get like their jitters out. So now I just leave it alone and I just meet you in the audience.
One thing I like to do too, and it's so bad, but I like to go up and like look at what it would look like to be on stage with all the people staring and just be like, ooh.
And you scare yourself.
Just mentally prepared.
Yeah, just like, oh, this is what it'll look like. You know?
I think one thing that I need to overcome is like, if we don't have monitor speakers, I start freaking out.
Me too.
Because like the freaking delay on the speakers going out compared to like what we're hearing is like, because the goal is always to listen to each other, especially if you're like, because we're a team. We need to hear each other. But if you're hearing what's being sang like half a second late and you start singing half a second late, it comes out half a second late on the speaker out. I was like, it's just bad, but I feel like we grew out of that too.
Yeah, I start freaking out when they say, oh, we only have 2 mics.
I forgot too. But I said 4.
In my mind, I'm like, who set this up? Like, they're setting us up.
The amount of times he's been like, there's only 2 mics. Let's go home. Like, what are we doing here? I'm like, bro,
No, there were times that did happen. They're like, oh, I'll come up. I'm like, hey, we only have 1 mic. Well, we have a cajon and 2 guitars that don't plug in.
Yeah.
And we're just like,
I'm just crossing my fingers like, I hope they cancel. I hope they cancel.
No, yeah,
I'm just waiting for one of y'all to say, hey guys, you guys only have 1 mic. We're out.
So that was like the behind the scenes. I feel like behind the scenes with Mark Harmony is so funny. So funny. If people really knew the conversations
Oh my god.
that we had pre-show, it's hilarious.
Hey, not to knock anybody in the past that has given us 1 mic. Like, we'll figure it out, but like preferably let's get 4 mics and 2 plugins. Like, just preferably. But we still love you. If you only gave us 1, even if you give us 1, 2 mics, like we still love you.
Yeah, when I hear
Thanks for the
that 1
opportunity.
mic, I start to panic.
I mean, him and Reagan have sang with no mic at
That's
the
true.
school.
But it's different. Like when they say, "Oh, you don't have a mic," we're like, "Okay, we'll just sing louder."
Yeah,
But when they say you have 1 mic, we're like, "What?"
it's bad because of the trauma from the wedding.
Yeah. Ever since that gig, man.
It all started with the wedding.
Because the DJ even came up to him and was like, "Only 1 mic." I was like, "Huh?"
He's like, only 1 mic. Like, say it again. Only 1 mic. Oh.
Good times, good times.
Mhm.
So, any word of advice to those that want to one day be a musician
Just do it.
or start a band or,
Just do it. Like literally find you a couple of friends. Y'all just sing wherever y'all can. Y'all eventually get noticed. It's easy to it's easy to start, but it's hard to stay consistent.
Yeah.
So just remember to stay. If you really want to push and be a musician, you have to be consistent because it's hard to it's a hard thing when you're at the top and then things stop and then you're right back to where you were just at and you're like, how do we get back into that momentum?
Yeah.
How do we get that momentum back and keep this thing going? But once you start, don't stop.
If you feel like you don't know enough about music or like if you can't even play an instrument, like if you got friends that play instruments, ask.
Mhm.
Like you have resources.
Yeah. And if you want to practice, if you have stage fright, you can practice singing in front of your friends because those are the most critical people you have in your life. They're going to tell you how it is. And so if you sound bad, they're going to tell you. And so if you really want to get over that stage fright thing, just start singing in front of people. It doesn't matter where you're at. You could be in Walmart, just start singing. That's what we used to do. We'd go shopping and sing in Walmart.
Yes. And then people would stop you and record you. And I'm like, what? I just walk away.
I know you.
I just walk away. I'm like, I don't know them. Like, good times, good times.
Looking back, I'm like, yeah, we definitely embarrassed her.
Lots of times.
Plenty.
I feel like you guys have definitely grown since 2018. I met you 2019. And over the years, it's been a learning experience for all of us, together as a team, like learning how to work as a team, be together as a team, and travel as a team. And it's just like the importance of like that dynamic. And I'm glad that we are super close to each other. We literally created our own little family. So it's just been a blessing being part of this team and so glad you guys chose me.
Yeah, that was a blessing in itself.
Thanks for saying yeah.
Mhm.
So one more question before we conclude the episode. What social media platforms are you all on?
Mark Harmony Official on Instagram, Mark Harmony 4 on TikTok, Mark Harmony Official on Facebook. Not on Twitter, not on Threads.
Yeah, thanks. It's just Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Oh, and YouTube, but we don't have a YouTube page.
Check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, all your listening platforms at Mark Harmony.
Awesome. And any last words before we close out this episode?
I want to say thank you guys for having me. This was a fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of laughter.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'll be on the next episode.
For sure.
But yeah, it's been an honor.
Yeah, spin your boys, my comedy.
Well, that concludes our episode for today. Be sure to follow our YouTube channel and subscribe to MEI the podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. We want to thank the 2 out of the 4 band members here with us today, Kairo and Matthew. I'm your host, Marcina Langrine, and as always, we'll catch you next time.